Hi, this is Kelly Ford with Microsoft, and in this video I'm going to show some of the basic building blocks of how you get around with a screen reader to work within Power Apps, and in particular the Power Apps Studio for editing and building apps. I'm using the JAWS screen reader, and I've made a couple of modifications to the JAWS settings that I work with. First of all, in the web environment, I have changed the setting for forms mode from the JAWS default of auto or semi-auto to manual because I prefer to control when JAWS goes in and out of forms mode. I've also turned off tutorial messages and changed the default speech rate and set punctuation to some. I'm using Chrome, and right now I'm on the apps page of the Power Apps kind of home, if you will, and have searched for accessibility in the list of apps.
7 columns and 3 rows. Apps list, column 3, row 1, name button.
So I hit T to jump to the table of search results.
Link accessibility control demo app, row 2.
So to demonstrate or explore how you edit an app, I'm using an app that I and a colleague use to explore the app environment.
More commands button menu, collapse menu.
So I've arrowed down once and we hear more commands.
Context menu, edit 1 of 10.
I hit enter, JAWS went into forms mode, and a menu of options came up.
Play 2 of 10.
The two most relevant here are edit, which allows me to make changes, or play, which would allow me to run the app.
Edit 1 of 10.
I'm going to hit enter on edit.
Leaving menus, Power Apps, alert, getting things ready, ... Power Apps. Getting things ready, ... 50. Select the control button of type screen. Here are a few ways to get started if this is your first time editing an app. Skip button.
So I get a little bit of a tutorial and I could read through that, but I'm going to skip that for right now. Again, I have to go into forms mode.
Power Apps Studio Group.
And then enter to turn off or you activate the skip button.
Virtual PC.
Let's go to the top of the app environment.
Power Apps.
And I'm going to start arrowing down.
Skip the main content button. App launcher button menu, collapse Power Apps canvas. Search box, suggestions appears, use edit combo list box. Environment button.
So we hear some basic navigational things.
Notifications button menu, collapse settings button, collapse help button, collapse account manager for Kelly main region.
Then we get into the main region. Now I'm going to start by arrowing through big pieces of this content. It's not the only way to get around, and I will show you how you can move around to different parts of this experience.
Group start main menu. Back button.
So first we hear about a main menu.
Separator. Open file menu button.
A file menu.
Home tab selected. Insert tab. View tab. Action tab. Configure the settings button. Group end.
So that section is where you kind of make changes and activate controls for getting around adding objects and things like that.
Accessibility control demo app saved and published.
Here's kind of my current status of the app.
App checker button.
Something we'll come to back to one of the controls, app checker.
Undo control plus Z, but redo control preview the app F5 button.
Another thing that we'll get to where we can preview the app right here in this environment.
Share with other users button. Learn menu, collapse, add a new screen, control plus M menu, submenu, collapse menu. Apply a theme menu, submenu, font name. Edit combo and font size. Edit combo and available list box. Bold menu and available, color menu and available.
Some more controls.
Align text menu and available submenu property. Fill edit com proper group menu and available submenu, collapse menu. Screen heading level 1.
I use the heading level 1 to jump down to the properties for the current control. When you first open an app, the first screen of the app is selected. And if I want, I can read through the properties for that item.
A screen in your application which holds controls such as text, images, and other data. Set its properties to determine how the screen looks and behaves. Button.
So there's kind of some explanatory details.
Rename button.
I could rename this screen.
Collapse properties pane button. Toolbar. Properties tab selected. Advanced tab. Ideas tab. Toolbar end. Fill button. Fill visual background color dot custom color with red equals 255. Green equals 200. Fill button menu. Background image button.
And I can arrow through all of these properties. And this will show the properties for whatever control selected.
Background image button menu collapse list box.
Now you might already be saying, I don't want to have to arrow through all this content. When I work in Power Apps with JAWS, I will toggle the virtual PC cursor off by default.
Off. PC.
And you can get around the app editor with Control F6 and Control Shift F6. Let's note what happens in that experience.
Ribbon region, main menu tab, back button.
So there's that same back button that we'd heard earlier. I can tab.
Open file menu button. Home tab selected, 1 of 4. Insert tab, view tab, 3 of 4. Action tab, 4 of 4.
And I could activate any of those options to get more choices. That's the first kind of press of Control F6.
Formula bar region, property edit combo, fill.
Here is the formula bar. This is also where you can set properties for whatever object is selected. Again, I mentioned that the screen is selected right now, and the fill color, if you will, for that screen is the default property. We can arrow up and down this and examine other properties, and we'll come back to this.
Navigational sidebar, navigation region, tab, expand to show names button collapsed.
This is the navigational area. This button that says
expand to show names.
Expand to show names. If you're using a screen reader, you don't really need to worry about it. The names of the various controls are all communicated. This is more of a visual thing to kind of give you details. We're going to start here when we finish going through the loop.
Authoring canvas region, button.
This is what's called the authoring canvas. This is probably the area you don't want to use. And you can do pretty much everything that you would want to do in other controls. But this is where the controls themselves appear and things of that nature when you're building an app.
Footer bar region, breadcrumb navigation region, button menu.
So we heard a breadcrumb area. This can be very handy as you're working through an app because you can move to the different screens and controls that you've been adjusting.
Control sidebar region, a screen in your application which holds controls such as text, images, and other data. Set its properties to determine how the screen looks and behaves. Button.
So here again, the thing that we had arrowed to and then pressed 1 to get to the properties for the screen is the same thing that we're using Control F6 to get to.
Ribbon region, main menu tab, back button.
And we're back to the kind of ribbon controls. So let's go back to the navigation.
Formula bar region, navigational sidebar, navigation region, tab, expand to show names button collapsed. 3 view toolbox item content tab panel, close button. Toolbar tab, screens tab selected, 1 of 2. Components tab, 2 of 2.
So here we can choose between screens or components.
Screens tab selected, 1 of 2.
Screens are, just as you can imagine, the various kind of containers of your app that you navigate users to. Components are like reusable pieces of controls and such that you could use.
Screens, search region, search edit. Preview, app type app object, 1 of 16.
So this app and any Canvas app, kind of the whole structure of the app is shown in a tree view. And again, I have the virtual PC cursor off, so I can arrow up and down this list. The top level container is the apt object, as you heard.
App type app object, application control. 0, app type app object. Button type screen, open.
So I gave this screen a name of button. By default, it would have been called screen 1. I changed that to button because the app here just lets me kind of insert controls to experiment with them. And I wanted to know which control I was putting on each screen.
Button type screen open, selected application control.
So here we heard, again, JAWS communicate that it was a button and the type of item was a screen.
1, label 3, type label, 1 of 3.
So here's a label.
Label 3, type label, application control.
And the numbers are referred to kind of various instances of controls and such.
Button 3 type button. Button 1 type button.
Now here again, you don't know all the details of the item. This just lets you navigate to them.
0. Text input type screen closed. 3 of 16.
We went back to another screen.
Drop down type screen closed.
And all of these indicate closed. We're going to arrow back up.
Text input type screen closed. Text input type screen open.
We've now opened this screen.
1. Label 2 type label 1 of 4.
There's another label.
Text input 1 type text input. Label 2 type label.
And
0. Text input type.
So this is a fairly standard tree view.
Text input type screen closed.
When you're on any control, you can bring up a context menu with Shift F10 or your computer's application shortcut key.
Menu move up 1 of 8. Selected control. Move down 2 of 8. Duplicate screen 3 of 8. Delete 4 of 8. Rename 5 of. Collapse all 6 of 8. Expand all. Show ideas 8 of 8.
Fairly straightforward. You can arrange in order how these screens are. It doesn't really control how they behave in the app because you have to hook the screens up to buttons and such to allow the user to get to them.
Move up 1 of 8. Move down. Duplicate screen 3 of 8.
If you want to make a copy of a screen, I'll frequently do that and then just adjust some of the text and other formulas that get you around.
Delete 4 of 8. Rename 5 of 8. Collapse all 6 of 8.
And the other things are fairly straightforward. Rename, delete.
Leaving menus. Navigational sidebar. Navigation region. Preview toolbox. Item content tab panel. Screens.
So let's go back to the top of the app.
App type app object. Button type screen open.
So here we hear button and type screen again.
1. Label 3 type label 1 of 3.
So here's the label that I talked about. I am going to press enter on this.
Label 3 type label selected control.
Now I'm going to hit Control Shift F6.
Formula bar region property edit combo text.
That is the fastest way to get directly to the formula. If you just want to make a few changes, it's probably the quickest way to do so. You can arrow up and down this list, and these are all the properties available to you for this. So this said text, that will be the text of the label. I'm just going to hit up and down arrow.
Property list with 45 items text. Tooltip.
So you have things such as text, tooltip,
underline, vertical line, tooltip, text, tab index, straight throw, size, roll, press fill, roll.
Roll will be an interesting one that we'll come to in a second.
Size, straight throw, tab index, text, property edit combo text.
Once I've selected the property that I want,
PC.
I hit tab.
Browse available functions button.
So really you're building formulas. And there's a range of functions. I'm going to hit space on this.
Function category drop down combo box text.
And I'm going to hit space again to see the category of functions.
Formula category list with 10 items text. Logical, table, action, datetime, math.
For basic controls, you don't need to do anything.
Information. Color.
But
math.
As you're building more complex controls or populating controls with content, you may use some of this.
Datetime, action.
So I'm just going to hit escape.
Function category drop down combo box text.
I'm going to hit tab again, and we're going to get to the parameters for the text property. Currently, you're going to hear an announcement about how you interact with this control. In the current state of the product, that announcement happens every time. It's something that we're exploring eliminating, but I just want you to be prepared for it, and I'll show you how you can read the property. So I'm going to hit tab.
Category functions list with 28 items, blank 1 of 28. Returns a null blank. Browse available functions. Current parameter edit alert. Formula watch view available. Press control plus down arrow to read the result. Press control plus up arrow to return focus back to the formula.
So I misspoke briefly, and
accessibility. Formula bar read.
I needed to press escape one more time to get out of the available functions. So I'll go over that again.
Browse available functions button application control.
I haven't expanded that now, so I'm going to hit tab, and again, you're going to hear that announcement about how to interact.
Current parameter alert. Formula watch view available. Press control plus down arrow to read the result. Press control plus up arrow to return focus back to the formula.
So we didn't hear the actual value of what's in this item.
Button screen.
I just did a JAWS say line command, and I made the label of this control say button screen. So as you can imagine,
Quote.
that is surrounded by quotes.
B-U-T-T-O-N space S-C-R-E-E-N. Quote. Blank.
And when you're in this formula parameter area, you need to hit escape to exit it.
Accessibility control demo app save.
Now let's look at the other property that I mentioned.
Formula bar region. Browse available functions. Property edit combo text.
We're going to go to role. If you're familiar with web accessibility in general or accessibility, you know that you sometimes can call things other things. So
Formula bar region. Tab index. Straight size. Roll. Press fill. Roll. Property edit combo. Roll.
we're going to tab twice.
Browse available functions. Current param alert. Formula watch view available.
So again, that announcement interrupted. So I hit the control key and I'm going to do a say line.
Text roll dot heading 2.
So the value of this is a function.
T-E-X-T-R-O-L-E period H-E-A-D-I-N-G 2 blank.
That I had put in of text roll dot heading 2. I'm going to show you how you can use kind of the IntelliSense of this area as well. So I'm going to hit Control A to delete all of this.
Text roll dot heading 2.
And I'm going to start typing. And I'm going to hit down arrow.
Suggestion list with 6 items. Text roll 1 of 6. Text 2 of 6. Text input 3 of 6. Text format 4 of 6. Text input text 2 of 6. Text roll 1 of 6. Current param alert. Formula watch view available. Press control plus.
Now you may be wondering what else is being shown.
On.
So I turn back on the virtual PC cursor for a minute. I'm going to read around this area.
Press control plus and text roll equals enum data type enum. Open formula bar tray text roll equals enum data type enum.
So we get a little bit more details about the format of the text roll.
Press control text roll edit. Off.
I've gone back to the edit box.
E blank. E L E blank.
I'm going to put in a period.
Suggestion list with 5 items. Default 1 of 5.
And then arrow up and down.
Heading 1 2 of 5. Heading 2 3 of 5. Current parameter alert. Formula watch view available.
And now if I read that line again,
text roll dot heading 2.
We can hear that that's text roll heading 2.
Saving to Power Apps mobile dialog.
I'm just saving my app.
Accessibility control demo app Power App.
Pretty much anything you do works like what I just showed. It's really about the complexity of the formulas and things. Let's go talk about how do you add new objects to an app. I'm going to use Control F6.
Ribbon region, main menu tab, back button.
I want to get to this area, the main menu region.
Open file menu button. Home tab selected, 1 of 4.
I'm tabbing.
Insert tab, 2 of 4.
I've pressed tab to insert.
Menu, submenu, menu, add a new screen, Control plus M submenu, 1 of 14.
I want to add a new screen at this point. So I'm going to hit enter. Again, I have the virtual PC off.
Expanded, blank, grid row 1, column 1.
And
scrollable, grid row 1, column 2.
There are some kind of default screen formats that you get.
Blank, grid row 1, column 1.
A grid is just like a blank container, if you will.
Scrollable, success, grid row, list, grid row 1, column 3. Tutorial, grid row 2, column 2.
Some of these other screen types have different containers for text or other controls.
Email, grid row 2, column 3. Meeting, grid row 3, column 2. People, grid row 3, column 1.
Right now, the way that you would know what each control adds is by adding it and then going to that tree view and exploring the default objects that are put in the app for you.
Calendar, grid row 3, column people, list, grid row 1, column 3.
We're going to add a grid.
Add a new screen, Control plus M submenu, 1 of 14. Adding screen, dot, 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 adding screen, dot, 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 adding screen, dot, 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 selected control, adding screen, dot, dot, dot.
Now if we go to that navigation area.
Leaving menus, formula bar region, property, navigational sidebar, navigation region, tab, expand the show names button collapsed. Preview toolbox item content, toolbar, tab, screens, tab selected, 1 of 2. Screens, search region, search, preview, label 3, type label, 1 of 3.
So we're still on that label that we had been exploring. I'm going to hit the end key to go to the end of this list or tree.
Quick action bar 1 type rectangle. Title 2 type label, quick. Title 2 type label, template gallery list 1. 0, screen 1 type screen, open 17 of 17. Screen 1 type screen, closed. Screen 1, template gallery list 1 type gallery, closed, 1 of 3. Title 2 type label. Quick action bar 1 type rectangle.
And apparently I selected, and this is good that this happened.
Title 2 type label. Template gallery list 1 type gallery closed. 0. Screen 1 type screen open 17 of 17.
I might have pressed enter on the wrong item. You can see that I have other controls
Deleting an item from a collection. Screen 1 type.
in my screen than I thought.
1. Template gallery list 1 type gallery closed 1 of 3.
Because I have what's called a template gallery.
Title 2 type label. Quick action bar 1 type rectangle.
And a couple other areas.
Title temp 0. Screen 1 type screen open 17 of 17.
So I don't really want that. So I'm going to hit Shift F10.
Menu move up 1 of 7. Show ideas. Expand all. Collapse all. Rename 4. Delete 3 of 7. Leaving menus.
Delete
Navigation
it.
sidebar navigation region. Preview toolbox item content tab panel screens. Preview. Screen 1 type screen of PC. Adding an item to it. Deleting an item from it.
I'm going to hit Control F6 to get back.
Authoring canvas region. Double click to edit text. Double footer bar region. Breadcrumb navigate. Control sidebar region. Ribbon region. Main menu tab. Back button. Open file menu. Home tab. Insert tab selected. 2 of 4. View tab. Free. Insert tab selected. 2 of 4.
And there's something to be aware of. Once you have used one of these top level items like insert, it is kind of expanded and available. So if I hit enter on it again, I'm not going to get to those items right now. I have to tab over to it.
View tab. Action tab. Configure the settings button. App checker button. Menu. Right side menu. Redo control. Preview the app. Share with other user. Learn button menu. Submenu. Add a new screen. Control plus M submenu 1 of 14. Blank. Grid row 1 column 1. Scrollable. Grid row 1 column 2. Success. Grid row 2. List. Grid row 1 column 3. Blank. Grid row 1 column 1. Adding screen dot dot dot. Add a new screen. Control plus M submenu 1 of 14. Adding screen dot dot dot. Adding screen dot dot dot. Select. Leaving menus. Formula bar region. Proper navigational side. Authoring canvas region. Footer bar region. Breadcrumb navig. Control sidebar region. A screen in your application which holds ribbon region. Main menu tab. Back button. Formula bar region. Drop. Navigational sidebar navigation region. Tab. Expand to show names button collapsed. Preview toolbar tab. Screen. Preview 3 tab. Expand to show names button collapsed. Preview tool. Screen 1 type screen.
So this time I got the right one.
Deleting an item from a collect. Screen 1 type screen.
And I got back to my tree view. So right now I just have a kind of a blank screen, if you will. And I can select that.
Screen 1 type screen.
I could then go back to the formula bar and see what properties there are there. Because this is a brand new screen, I can also turn back on the virtual cursor.
On. Virtual PC. Screen heading level 1.
Hit the number 1 and start moving around to this.
A screen in your application which holds controls. Rename button. Collapse properties toolbar. Collapse property toolbar. Properties tab selected. Advanced ideas tab. Toolbar and fill button. Fill visual background color dot custom.
And again, I could read through these.
Off.
Screen isn't very interesting because it's just a placeholder.
PC.
But I'm going to show you what else you can do. So we're going to add something else to this screen.
Authoring canvas region. Add footer bar region. Breadcrumb. Control sidebar region. A screen in your ribbon region. Main menu tab. Back button. Open file menu button. Home tab 1 of 4. Insert tab selected 2 of 4. View tab 3 of 4.
Let's say you want to do something different and you don't want to have to always tab over to the item because it was expanded. You can kind of take a shortcut. I'm going to press enter on view.
Menu, submenu, manage data sources 1 of 5. Right side menu, learn button menu.
Then I'm going to hit Control Shift F6.
Leaving menus, control sidebar region, a screen in your application with ribbon region, main menu tab, back button, open home tab, insert tab 2 of 4.
And enter on insert. It's really a matter of kind of how many keystrokes you want to press.
Menu, submenu, add a new screen, control, label 2 of 4, button 3 of, text submenu 4 of 4, input submenu, gallery submenu 6 of 4, data table 7 of 4, form submenu 8 of, media submenu, chart submenu, icon submenu 11 of 14.
So in this case, I'm going to add an icon to my app.
Expanded, add 1 of 175. Cancel 2 of 1, cancel batch 3 of 100, edit 4 of 100, check 5 of 100, check batch 6, search 7 of, filter 8 of 1, flat filter 9, flat filter fill, sort 11 of 1, reload 12 of 1, trash 13 of 175. Save 14 of 175. Download 15. Copy 16. Download 15 of 175.
So these are all icons. The names are here for accessibility purposes, so you know what you're picking. But let's add a download icon.
Icon submenu 11 of 14. Please wait dot dot dot. Please wait dot dot dot. Selected control. Please wait dot dot dot. Please wait dot dot dot.
Now let's go back to the navigation tree.
Leaving menus. Formula bar region. Property edit. Navigational sidebar. Navigation region. Tab. Expand to show names button collapsed. Preview toolbox. Toolbar tab. Screens tab. Select. Screen. Search region. Search. Preview. Screen 1 type. Screen open. 17 of 17. 1. Icon 2 type. Icon 1 of 1.
So we hear that, an icon of type icon has been added.
On.
Let's go explore the properties.
Icon heading level 1. Rename button. Collapse properties. Toolbar properties tab selected. Advanced tab. Ideas tab. Toolbar end. Icon button. Icon type of icon to display download. Icon button menu collapse. Icon type of icon to display download. Icon button menu collapse list box. Rotation button. Rotation number of degrees to rotate the icon. Rotation. Edit 0. Display mode button. Display mode visual and interaction state of the control. Display mode button menu collapse list box. Visible button.
We could read through all these.
Visible show hides the visual.
Won't be overly accessible right now, though. So what we're going to do
Off.
is we are going to go to the formula area.
Formula bar region. Property edit combo on select.
And again, you have to hook up what's going to happen when you select this item. It's just another formula. But we
Formula bar icon hover
are going to arrow.
Fill. Display content language color border thick border style border color auto disable accessible label. Property edit combo accessible label.
And we are going to pick the accessible label.
Browse available functions button. Current parameter alert. Formula watch view available.
Again, that note about how you use this control.
Quote.
So right now the accessible label is just quote.
Blank. Quote.
But I've aligned myself up in between them, and I'm going to put a name, and I'm going to just put download in this case.
Blank. Quote.
Save my app.
Saving to Power Apps mobile dialog.
At this point,
control demo app Power App.
You can, if you recall when we first started arrowing,
Virtual PC.
You heard something that said preview the app, and you can press F5. So for short exploration, if you just want to see how are your changes taking effect, if I press F5 right now,
no more headings at level 2 main region. Heading level 2 please wait ... Close preview mode escape button.
So here I've turned back on the virtual PC cursor.
Screen 1.
So right now it says screen 1.
Download graphic.
And then the download graphic. Because all I did was give it a name. I can do other things like change the roles of items and things like that and rename the screen.
Screen 1 of type screen.
The last thing I'm going to show as far as building apps
Off.
is I've turned off the virtual PC cursor.
PC.
Again. So Power Apps, the editor, has a checker.
Did you know mobile dialog? You can also test your app right on the canvas by holding down the Don't show me this again. OK button.
So there's a little teaching tip. You can hold down the Alt key and do things on the canvas. Really, that's not going to work with screen readers, and you have other ways to do the same thing.
Ribbon region, main menu tab, formula bar region, drop, navigational sidebar, navigation region tab, expand the show names button, collect, author in canvas region, footer bar region, breadcrumb, control sidebar region, the screen, ribbon region, main menu tab, back button, open, view tab, action tab, configure the settings button.
I am tabbing.
App checker button.
So here's the app checker. I'm going to press enter on this. Again, virtual PC's off.
Use the app checker to review formulas and accessibility issues in your app.region. Close button. Menu action to refresh list of errors button. Leaving menus. List of issue categories. List with 5 items. List of formula issues group by severity.
I've tabbed a couple times.
List of runtime issues group by severity. List of rule issues group by severity. Rules button. List of accessibility issues group by severity. Accessibility 26 button.
Now, right now this app says it has a lot of accessibility issues. In fact, it says it has 26 of them. This is not a finished app, and really this is used for experimental purposes. So not all the properties have been filled out. But I'm going to press enter on the accessibility issues.
Close button. Menu action to refresh list of errors button. Leaving menus 3 grid. Errors 24 row expanded. Error type row expanded. Missing accessible label group. Grid accessibility issue details row.
Now, right now I have the virtual PC cursor off. And we're working on improving this because right now, if I arrow up and down this list,
grid accessibility issue details row. Grid accessibility issue details row.
As you can hear, everything just says accessibility issues detail. So if you want to review the details, what you're going to want to do is turn the virtual PC cursor back on.
Power Apps.
And then each issue is shown in a kind of a grid. And so if I hit T,
2 columns and 31 rows. Column 1, row 1, unlabeled 0 button expanded. Errors.
Here we hear about errors.
24, unlabeled 0 button missing accessible label. 19. Missing accessible label.
And I can read more details. So I have 19 items in my app that are missing accessible labels.
19. Group start missing accessible label. Grid with 2 columns and 1 rows. Blank. Combo box 1.
So here's one of the first controls that's missing it.
Details button. Navigate to review issue details button.
And then a details button. I could
details
hit
button.
enter.
Grid details button.
Again, because I had the virtual PC cursor on, I have to hit it twice.
30. Close button. Selected control combo box 1 of type combo box. Formula bar alert. Formula watch view available.
Now we're taken back to that
Application mode. Virtual PC.
formula area to make changes.
Blank. Quote. Quote.
And I'm in the edit area. If I hit
Accessibility.
escape,
Formula bar region. Property edit combo. Accessible label.
so I am positioned such that the accessible label property was selected. And I can then go back to the formula area parameter.
Browse available. Current parameter alert. Formula
And
watch
I
view
could
available.
have typed in the accessible label. So, and then fix that issue. And then I do need to go back and start the app checker over right now. Again, that's an area that we're working on improving once you've done this. This is just an example of how you kind of get around Power Apps right now. In another section, I will show you how you use an app. Thank you.